Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 130 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on September 13th, 2022. How are all you wonderful folks doing on this fine fall day? I'm calling it fall. Yeah, the reason I'm calling it fall is because it finally doesn't feel like the surface of the sun outside. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, no, this week is extremely demanding for me. And I'm already exhausted. Yeah. And it's Tuesday. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I really am. I'm not going to lie, man. Definitely going to do some shooting and sleeping. I want to do both of those things, but not simultaneously. That would be crazy. No, went hard in the paint this past weekend. Full weekend of analysis and field testing for PEW Science, as well as remembrance of Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. Somber day this past Sunday because of that, but work was done anyway. Quite the backlog of work, which is always a good thing. We are tackling a lot of great tests that are going to be great for the community, I think, and for the industry at large. So that's good stuff. A lot of stuff hot off the presses right now, a lot of calculations to do, data to review. It's one of my favorite things. It really is. I do enjoy the field work, but I also enjoy the analytical work. But just kind of two peas in a pod. You really can't have one without the other. That's right. You know, I'm finally getting my butt in gear and moving forward on my helmet game. Yeah, I am. The technology I have been planning to use, hands-free and helmet-mounted, is coming together. It is. So I'm going to touch on that in today's episode. I'll talk a little bit about that stuff. And you know, I was thinking about that when you are trying to outfit your kit or your stuff, your apparatus with technology that's sufficiently complex to make you really competitive at combating an alien race. Essentially, you're fighting off the aliens, or maybe when you're looking for that special transferable machine gun for your collection. You may be scratching your head as to where to look. I know such a place, though. I do. High-end armament. That's right. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by High-End Armament Technology, a dealer of exactly that. High-end arms and accessories. That's right. They have a really, and this is, and when I say this, I am being straight with you. They have significant longevity in the machine gun and NFA game, as well as significant expertise in both the procurement and operation of night vision, thermal optics, and a variety of infrared sighting systems. They really do. Robert and his crew have decades of experience and actual knowledge of the gear. If there's a weapon system that's rare and you're having trouble locating it, or if you need to get into the night vision or thermal game, the transferable machine gun game, they are a really great place to call. Check them out at highendarms.com, on Instagram at highendarms, and they even have a Facebook page, which is also High End Arms. I hope they can help you folks out. If you need it, tell them Jay sent you. And as always, the J Situation Podcast is also proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. You can use their kiosk. You can do your fingerprints and photos electronically. And in turn, you cut down on errors. You simplify your silencer purchasing process. You get a money-back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees. No paperwork errors. Just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. That's right. Also, you guys, I'm trying to help you guys out with ammo. Check out True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona. If you click the link in the show notes or on the website, pewscience.com/podcast there, and there's all kinds of different links to True Shot on the website, it'll take you to their website. And if you buy ammo after clicking those links, it does help the podcast and it does help PEW Science. It's very simple. If you want to join their A-Zone membership to get free shipping on all the ammo you buy the whole year from them, if you use code word PEW Science at checkout, you'll get $20 off that membership. It's cool. You win, they win, you help the podcast. Hope it helps you guys. I really do. And lastly, and most importantly of all, this podcast is sponsored by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward, one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest and the most accurate hearing-safe ratings for your suppressed small arms, and it's based on true human inner ear response. From the entire gunshot, from before combustion takes place, all the way until all the combustion is gone. That's right. The suppression ratings in Section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. There are also reviews in Section 6 of the standard. And finally, Section 7 contains the rankings. It's a simple database tool with which you can sort and filter all the public test results. And when you find something you like, you click the links in the table and it'll take you back to Section 6, where you can look at the most in-depth silencer data in the entire world. Probably in the entire solar system. Assuming we're the only ones using silencers right now. It's probably a good bet. As always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, there's a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry, and your contact information and all test data will be held in strict confidence. Unless, of course, you want to release it to the public, and guess what? PEW Science can help you do that, and you might be seeing a little something this week. Maybe a couple things this week. This week? Yes, friends. Stay tuned. You can support this podcast. You can support PEW Science. You can support all of the testing I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. There's also a new donate feature on the review page and the podcast page. Every little bit helps. Okay? And something that's free, it doesn't cost you anything. You can rate this podcast 5 stars on iTunes to let folks know that, and frankly, to let iTunes know, and the general public know that silencers and guns are awesome. You can rate it on Spotify too. Anywhere you can, you give it a good rating. What it does is it tells the algorithm, oh my gosh, people like silencers? Maybe they're not so bad. Maybe they don't need to be regulated. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. This is not going to be a super long podcast, but it's probably not super short. I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm going to talk crazy. No. Is that different? No. I do have three. I have 3 topics prepared. I have such a busy, crazy week. We do here at PEW Science as well, and you do, the PEW Science family, because of what's coming. So we're going to hit these 3, and hopefully you will find them useful. Topic 1, the Predator Project. LARPing as an alien from another world. Here to hunt with technology eclipsing that of the inhabitants of Earth. Is what I just said far-fetched? Surprisingly not. No. Night vision, thermal, and you. That's basically topic 1. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week. This week? Why not 2? Why not 2 sound signature reviews this week? Let's go back. Let's go back into the archives and hit some stuff that needs characterizing. It's been a minute for some stuff. We need to go back, and we're going to circle back. We're going to circle back and go back into the archives and dig up some data for you, some fresh data. And then topic 3, just finished a wonderful field testing program. Really great data. Excuse me. And also some really fantastic research progression for our PEW Science R&D clients. That's something also that's going on right now concurrently. The end result of all this, better products for you. You know, that's really the coolest part of this. So thank you for your support. Okay, let's move into topic 1 at a time in 9 minutes. In 8 seconds. All right, get some water here. Man, guys, I'm telling you, just like I'm not sure how many of you listen to the intro and how many you skip it, which is fine, but I was saying during the intro, I'm so tired. I had to, I took some pre-workout earlier. Dude, I took a little, I didn't take a full scoop, but I took a little something. I did lift yesterday. It's Tuesday night. I am really having a hard time. Topic 1, the Predator Project. night vision, thermal, and you. I mean, I made a joke here when I read the topic. LARPing is an alien from another world. You think about the Predator. What was the Predator? It was there to hunt with technology eclipsing that of the inhabitants of Earth. That's what it was. And so this is sort of a two-part topic. Topic duality. The duality of man. The duality of man. The duality of both achieving your childhood dreams, but also doing so in a fashion that incurs practical enjoyment as an adult. That's balance. Isn't it, though? Isn't that balance? It took me a very long time to get into the thermal game. When I was a kid, the movie Predator came out, and I'm a child of that generation, that first Predator movie, and the generation of the action heroes, like Arnold, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. The amazing and iconic films that were created in that era. It was just, man, it really made an impression on young kids. It really did. I mean, it kind of shaped a lot of stuff. Yeah, they were just so cool. The movie Predator, in particular, was really cool because the entire premise was based on an antagonist that had a significant advantage. And a really cool thing about it was that he wasn't necessarily malicious. You're like, oh my God, Jay has literally lost his mind. What was in that pre-workout? I feel the tingle. No, I'm saying he wasn't necessarily malicious. Sure, I mean, he wore trophies of his human kills around his belt. He wore the human skulls. Okay, he literally had a belt of human skulls, but it's not like he was an alien on Earth to declare war. He was just being himself. The Predator. Right? The ultimate humanoid form of a predator. Highly evolved for predation. Okay, for hunting of life forms. But also, he had highly evolved technology. He really did. And should I say highly advanced, evolved or advanced technology. Okay, so sure, a big picture. I'm being serious here. Sure, he had the athleticism, he had the size, he had the strength, he had the stamina. But those were the biological factors. Okay, the technological factors were significant. They were, and in the first movie, if you haven't seen the first Predator movie, I'm sorry, but you need to catch up. Okay, in the first movie, the mask that he wore allowed the Predator a variety of advantages. One of which was the focusing of his long wave infrared vision, so that the thermal contours were more clearly delineated than without the mask. Okay, so if you remember, the vision with his mask off had more coarse contours. Right, it could have been because he was an old Predator, maybe needed his glasses. I don't know, but you'll notice in the later Predator movies, the Predators did maintain pretty clear thermal contours in their vision, even without the mask. So that's just some Predator trivia for you. I'm not sure if you knew that, but that is one thing that helped the Predator technologically in the first movie. Now, the details of the alien technology are less important here than the primary point of having spectra at your command other than visible light. Okay, the Predator enjoyed an advantage that a human being could only dream of enjoying. It's not even on the same planet. Literally, it's alien. So in the late 80s, when this movie came out, literally everyone was in awe. Everyone was in awe. I know I was. I remember. I was in awe. I was a kid, and all I knew was that I wanted to be able to do that because it was awesome. That's what I wanted, dude. And I'm not too proud. Oh, that's dumb. That's not real. That's an alien. Bro, listen. If you were alive and that movie came out, you were like, I want that. I want to do that. And if you're not into that, like, maybe you're not cool. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm being facetious, but I'm also being way more serious than you think I am. There are really few superhero or fantasy or action hero type movies you see as a kid that present scenarios you end up being able to actually recreate in reality. Okay? You got to listen to me. Here's some things maybe that you could do. Like, you could be a really big fan of Top Gun, like the original Top Gun with Kilmer and Tom Cruise, right? And then you could go on to be a really awesome fighter jet pilot. And that happens. Like, that's real. Or maybe you could watch like any number of military or combat films and go on to serve your country. And, maybe you serve your country in a capacity that would allow you to participate in combat deployments and missions that have some parallels to things you see in the films. That happens too. That's actually probably more common. Maybe just as common as the pilot thing. Yeah, it could happen. But with regard to the Predator, there's actually a special case here. We can physically do this. Yeah, you can. Not only can we use the technology, but we can actually use it in the same way the Predator uses it. We can. And you can hunt living things and kill them using the technology from the Predator movies. And you can. And you can do it in ways that the original Predator couldn't even do. You feel me? Dude, that was the 80s, bro. I know he was an alien from another time, but... I mean, you now look, you can't necessarily do all the things the Predator can do in an economical way. Like the shoulder-fired rockets and the laser targeting system and voice mimicking technology in the mask. Remember when he's like, anytime. Remember when he's mimicking, he's like throwing his voice, but with like the Predator mask electronically. He like modulated the voice and like replayed it. Anytime. That was so awesome, dude. That's such a good movie. And so many governors in it. So many former governors. Like, if you just look at the acting cast, too. I mean, it's really a blockbuster movie. 2 thumbs up. The shoulder-fire rockets, the laser targeting system, all that stuff, it gets a little expensive. I mean, it's doable. It's just expensive. DARPA could hook you up. But that's... I'm not really talking so much about those special features. I'm talking about long-wave infrared thermal. On your face, okay, like on your freaking face, on your face. That's right. You listen to this podcast on your face in actual practical use, and night vision too. Light amplification in the IR spectrum. You can see IR light at various wavelengths and long wave IR to see thermal gradients in your surroundings. And this is not future technology or fantasy. Okay, this isn't like, oh, this is crazy. Jay's talking crazy talk. No, this is absolute practical reality right now. It's right now. Okay, the future's now, and you're in it. You are in the future right now. Right now. So several years ago, I forget how long ago now, less than 10 years ago, probably, it's getting up there, probably close to that now, I got into consumer thermal technology. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely less than 10 years ago. I got into consumer thermal technology. I had used different technologies in my former life in the DoD, in the Department of Defense, but nothing like the consumer thermal that's available now. And I spoke about this on the podcast the other day. My first consumer thermal was a Pulsar Helion XP50. And it's not even old. That's like that tells you how long it took me to get into this stuff. On the consumer level, it's very advanced. It's a very modern unit. It's older now, okay, but it's not that old. It's a consumer unit. It's not that old, but there are people who have been in the consumer thermal game for a long time, and they've used things for a lot longer than me, like way longer than me, and in this way. But this was my first step as a consumer to achieve the Predator dream. Okay, this handheld thermal spotter. This isn't a helmet mount. It's kind of big. It's like the size of this glass of water, but turned on its side. It's like a spotting scope thing. You can hold it, put a lanyard. But it's cool. It's my first step to in the consumer world, technology that I owned, that I bought, that I had to be more lethal. Okay, and I have killed a multitude of things using that spotting scope, that Helion, and it's not weapon mounted. It's not. You don't put it on a gun. But as you know from watching the Predator movie, and please watch it if you haven't, as you know from watching that movie, it's not about using the thermal to kill. It's about using thermal to locate your objective. Okay? If your objective is alive, you're finding it with thermal. Trust me, dude. I promise. I know Mike released some videos, Grantham released some videos about hiding from thermal and stuff. I didn't watch them yet. I haven't had time. I just saw. I think he probably talked about thermal camo and stuff. I haven't watched it, but from when I was in the DoD a very long time ago, not doing the same thing as Mr. Grantham, man. I did something much different. You can't hide from thermal when you move. Okay. Or at least you definitely couldn't back then. I don't think you can now either. And so if your objective is alive and it's moving, you're finding it with thermal. You just are, dude. I don't know how you would. I mean, you can kill me. I'm here. Remember when Arnold in the Predator movie, he puts mud on his face, and the Predator gets a little skeptical about the situation because he thinks it's a trap, and Arnold's like, you can't triple stamp a double stamp, and he totally kills him anyway. I mean, spoiler alert. I don't know if you know this, but Arnold didn't die in the Predator movie. So, I mean, obviously you know that. So, you need to watch it. But what he was doing, and what the movie demonstrated back then in the 80s, was that thermal radiation emitted by different bodies based upon, well, I mean, there's a lot of different things like the emissivity, and anyway, there's a lot of, I don't want to get too, this is meant to be entertaining for you and not technical, and informational, not technical. Depending on the gradient, different thermal radiation will be able to be discerned differently by different technologies. Okay, and so there are things to learn when you use a thermal, but once you get a thermal device, whatever it is, and you go start to use it in the field and start to practice field detection and identification, you're going to get good, dude. You're going to get good. Very good, actually. You're going to get very good. It's going to take you a little bit, though. But once you're practiced, you will literally own your terrain. You are well on your way to becoming the Predator. That's right. Now, a handheld spotter can be cumbersome. It can be cumbersome. I like to use mine on a lanyard. Okay? The lanyard's slung around my neck a lot of times. I can drop it when I'm not using it, and it's really convenient. Okay? But if you're going to engage, you need a rifle with illumination or some other solution, or you could use a pistol too. You need a weapon. But you need illumination probably if you're hunting at night with thermal. You don't have to hunt at night with thermal. You can hunt during the day too, but let's pretend we're talking about nighttime right now. Now, I've spoken about this before too. One second. I've spoken about this before too, but one solution, actually maybe I glossed over something. So when I say you're going to engage after you locate something with your handheld thermal, that means you're going to shoot something. And if it's dark and you don't have a thermal on your gun, you're going to have to pop them with a light and shoot. And I traditionally have used red light to not destroy my night vision, meaning my eyes, to not completely dilate my or constrict my pupils, because they're so dilated because it's dark. So what I would do, this is my method. It's advanced, because you're using thermal. What I would do is I would use the handheld spotter on my left eye. Okay, like holding it up to my left eye. So basically, like it would completely ruin the night vision in that left eye. But I always kept my right eye, my dominant eye, my shooting eye, not exposed to the bright light in the dark. And then when it came to shoot with my day scope with red light at night, when I like stalked, because this is like walk and stalk hog hunting, right? Or like coyote hunting. Like, so I'm traveling, I'm like on foot. When I look at a thermal objective and I stalk up on that objective that's alive, reading the wind so I don't get winded, that's a whole other conversation for hunting that has nothing to do with thermal or night vision or anything. That's just how to hunt, and that's a whole different podcast. But I learned how to hunt coyotes from a master hunter, an older gentleman that is one of the best hunters I've ever met in my life. He taught me how to hunt coyotes. And so when you're reading your wind and you're stalking and everything, and you got one eye, and he didn't use thermal. He didn't need thermal because he's crazy. I mean, he could kill more with it. But when you only have one eye you can use, it's awesome because then you you get your shooting sticks or whatever you're going to do to engage, and then you can look through the day scope with your dominant eye that hasn't been blinded yet. You punch that red light on, and you kill that animal. You're good, and that's kind of what I did for a while. And before that, I wasn't using any thermal at all. I was looking for stuff with like spotlights. That's how I would kill things. All right, and so what I'm telling you is like this is a technology progression. So so you go what do? You go daytime hunting. Then you go nighttime hunting with spotlights. Then you go nighttime hunting with predator detection using thermal handheld. Then you engage with whatever. What's the next step? What's the next? What's the next step in this sickness? Dedicated thermal weapon sight. That's right. Dedicated optic on your rifle that's just like your handheld spotter, but it can take a recoil. And it has a reticle. And basically operates like a scope, but it's a digital camera operating in the long wave infrared spectrum, just like your handheld spotter was. That's right. So you get that, you use it, you kill things, and now you're even closer to becoming the predator. You're so close, dude. You're right there. You're spotting. You're locating. You're identifying. And now you're actually operating completely under long wave infrared in the heat radiation spectra. You're killing. You are super close. You're almost there, dude. You can modify day optics with clip-on thermal sights too. You can do that too. You're using technology to become the predator. You're almost there. You're almost there. But then what? What do you really want to do? What do you really, really want to do? Be honest. You want to be able to look around and see like the predator, hands-free. That's what you want, dude. This is what you want. You want the predator mask, and you want it to work without the biological trait of long-wave infrared vision. Sorry, you're born a human, so you're not getting this from birth. You're just not. But that's okay. You can get it now. Helmet mounted. That's right, helmet mounted thermal. Okay. I told you guys I was getting into this maybe a year ago or 6 months ago or something. I don't remember when I first told you. Several longtime PEW Science members reached out to me to offer advice on helmets many months, like maybe a year or two ago. These guys have been talking to me about this forever. You guys send me long emails with all your experiences and your mounts and your bridges and everything. It was awesome. You're giving me advice on helmets, different small thermal units suitable for mounting to the helmets. You're giving me advice on so-called bridges. Okay, what a bridge in this context is, it's a special mounting bracket that allows you to mount various optics in front of each of your two eyes, depending on what you're doing, right? So for example, a bridge might be configured to hang from your helmet mount and hold a PVS-14 night vision monocular. Okay, it might hang that in front of one eye, and then maybe a miniaturized long-wave infrared thermal camera in front of your other eye. Okay, and this would be what we would call a dual spectrum setup. Okay, one of your eyes is using a light amplifying device, and it's an image intensifier tube to let you see what you would see in the visible spectrum, but in a certain range of the infrared spectrum. Okay, and then the other one of your eyes is looking at a digital camera screen, and that screen is projecting a digitized image from a sensor that's picking up long-wave infrared signals and converting that to signal transposed to a picture. It's just you're watching a long-wave infrared movie in real time. Okay, that's what the thermal is. So that's one option. You know, you have a night vision monocular and a thermal monocular on each eye. You can do that. Your brain may or may not work correctly doing it. Some people can do it. Some people can do it better than others or worse than others, but you have to play with it and dial it in. You got to be patient. You got to think about stuff. And the field of view from your night vision monocular is going to generally be wider than your thermal optic. So what's field of view? That's like if you were like staring out in front of you, just look in front of you right now. The view you see bisected by the angles of your peripheral vision. So when you have both eyes open, just looking out in front of you, your field of view is super wide, right? You get your eyes in front of your head because you're a predator. Did you know that? Pay attention. You know, you see like a fox or like a cat or something like that. Their eyes are in the front. Why? It's because they're seek and destroy mode. They're predators. Where are the eyes of a deer? They're on the side of its head. Why? They're built to detect and run from you. They're prey. Different sport. Okay, you're a predator. Your eyes are in the front. All right? Your eyes are in the front. Make no mistake, you're here to kill. All right? That's why you're doing this. So, you're like, Jay's scary. Jay, why are you scaring me? It's fine. But yeah, where was I going with that? Oh, right. Field of view. So your field of view is forward, right? Well, when you have a night vision monocular up to your face or one of your eyes, it has a narrower field of view than your eye, unless you like just one monocular. It's going to narrow your field of view a little bit. Well, guess what? The thermal optic is going to have an even narrower field of view many times because of its nature. It's a screen. You're looking at a screen. You're actually looking at a digital screen. It's not a lens. You're looking at a screen. So you're looking at a movie. You're watching a TV on your face. Okay? And because of that, the field of view, it's difficult to get it super wide with the monoculars. So generally, if you're using both eyes open at the same time, like one in night vision and one in thermal, you're going to see a thermal box superimposed on your night vision field of view, kind of. It's hard to describe that. But the reason I say it's a box is because the area of your thermal view will be smaller. Okay? Now depending on the field of view of the thermal optic and the color of the screen and the brightness you set it to and the technology and the image quality, the type of thermal it is, the frame rate of the movie, of the display quality, the image quality, the resolution, all of that stuff together, it's going to look a certain way to you. Okay, it's going to look a certain way. And so I'm just giving you guys a really high level overview, and I know I'm going fast through this. I just want you to have the big picture. This is big picture stuff. It's not going into really minutia. It's telling you how this works. How you can see as the predator. Okay, so that's what I'm messing with right now. 1 second. That's what I'm messing with right now. Personally, I'm telling you, when I talk to you about these projects in the podcast, like the SCAR project or this Predator project, you're following along with my learning. Okay, we're going to learn together. This is PEW Science. Okay, that's what we're doing. So, So what am I doing? I'm messing with a PVS 14 night vision monocular and a thermal monocular simultaneously to cover an incredible range of the infrared spectrum. Different parts of the spectrum, so I could say multiple spectra. Okay, and I have a couple of PVS 14 devices I'm messing with, and for the thermal monocular, appropriate for helmet use. So let me make sure. I've gotten so many questions from people already about this. It's really cool. You guys are asking questions. The thermal monocular that's appropriate for helmet use, so it's smaller than my handheld. It's not my Helion XP50. That thing's big. Smaller than that. I'm actually playing with a couple of those too. I have two very small thermal monoculars. I have the Voodoo S from Pixels on Target, and if that is a very sophisticated thermal sight. It is a clip-on thermal sight that can be used, that can also be used as a handheld or a helmet mount. Okay, so that's one. And then I have an older, I just got both, but I just recently got this one. I got an old Trigicon, Trigicon bought a company that makes these. It's called the Skeeter L. The Skeet IR-L. It's older, it's not made anymore, but it's a helmet mount thermal, helmet mounted, or it's a thermal intended to be a helmet mounted that can also be used as a clip-on or a spotter. And you notice the order of the use cases. You see, when I talked about the Voodoo, I said the Voodoo S, it's a clip-on that can also be used as a handheld or a helmet mount. But when I describe the Skeet, I'm saying it's a helmet-mounted unit that can also be used as a clip-on or a spotter. You see, that's the order of the use case. Several people think the Skeet series of thermals are just clip-ons, but they aren't. They really are not ideal for clip-on use because they have a pretty big field of view. Back to the field, and this is why I was going to talk about field of view with you. That they have a bigger field of view relative to dedicated clip-on sites. Because remember, a clip-on, and I haven't really gone over this in detail. I eventually will, but this is a pretty advanced topic. It's more advanced than you think. A clip-on sight is put in front of a day optic, and you zoom in on the screen. Okay? And so a large field of view is not necessarily the best for that. You see why you might not want the Skeet for this. So, okay, it actually does get complicated, but that's the gist of it. So that's what I'm messing with right now. I have a few bridge options, and the bridges I will use interface directly with another mount that you'll need if you go helmet mounted stuff. There's a variety of different kinds. The very famous one is the Wilcox G24 helmet mount. It's the thing that connects to the clip on the helmet itself, and then the bridge connects to the G24. It's the articulating thing that goes that swings up out of the way. That thing just swings up out of the way and can move closer to your face a little bit or further away. That main mount, it's like $400 or something because Wilcox cornered the market. The G24, yeah. So I got some bridges that connect to that. I got some different mounts that connect to that thing, right? So the helmet I have, and I bought this with some, just talked to different people. People helping me out with this helmet stuff. I'm new to this helmet stuff. I'm learning it, right? I'm learning. You guys are helping me. I'm helping you. I have an OpsCore Fast SF ballistic helmet. It's pretty comfortable and it's not that heavy. And the Wilcox G24 clips right up there on the front, and it's cool looking. And you can use what is called a J-arm, and that's what I'm talking about, that can dangle from your G24, and that can put one sight in front of one of your eyes, or you can use a bridge on the G24 instead, and that would allow you to use two optics at once, like I described earlier, right? So instead of a J-arm, you would use a bridge. I'm just throwing out these terms. This is you getting familiar with the vernacular, okay? I'm pretty new to helmet stuff. Like I said, I'm old school, killing stuff with weapon-mounted things or spotters and red light. Now I'm trying to be the predator. So to be the predator, you gotta You got to use all this military stuff because guess what? The U.S. military was like, that was awesome. We want to do that too. Guaranteed. So yeah. So you can use a bridge instead of a J-arm, and what that'll allow you to do, it'll allow you to use two optics at once, and various bridges allow various levels of articulation. There's a lot of different varieties of products. You can use one or both of the optics in front of your eyes, or neither. But and you do that by flipping them up or to the side or folded different ways. It just depends on the bridge. Depends on your G24 mount and the way it's going to, blah, blah, blah. There's just, you can go wild. You can set it up for you, So what I did, and this is just my personal rabbit hole there is a PEW Science component to this, in that a lot of people have been asking about visible detection evaluation of certain weapon systems. And so there is a method to my entire madness, but to be clear, this is personal insanity. I acquired a Skeet IRL, because of its large field of view. Let me tell you why I picked it. Okay, I don't have any skin in the game, so I just tell you why. I don't sell them, so I can talk about him and like, oh, he's biased against he likes Trigicon now. He's a shill. Okay, cool. I bought it used, so it's really expensive. I spent all my lunch money on this stuff. I got the Skeeter L because of its large field of view. It's no longer made. It's an older. I bought it from a buddy. Shout out, sir, if you're listening. You're a gentleman and a scholar. It's an older unit with a 320 resolution core. The new version of the Skeet is the X version. It's also small and light. It has a 640 core. It's more modern. And it's more advanced, but also it's much more expensive. And so there you go. Okay. And there's some variety. The purpose of the Skeet for me will be dedicated helmet mount use. Like, I bought that thing for that. Like, I bought a Voodoo S for clip-on duty in front of the day optics, like my attacker on my Scar, like my Night Force. Because it's like made for that. It's literally made, that Voodoo S is like made for that scope. So you can also use it in front of things like a magnified aim point or a magnified EOTech, which is supposedly the bomb.com, man. It's awesome. Like, people love it. So that's kind of what my mini thermals. And I'm actually gonna, with this podcast episode, I'll post a picture of the two small thermals, these small thermal units I have. Because I want you to see the size, and I'll put it next to something else small and iconic, just for scale, right? You need scale, so I'll do that. Now let me get a drink of water. 1 second. So my other thermal sights, are dedicated weapon sights that I've had for a while. And I place those on guns that will only be used with thermal. Makes sense, right? Pretty simple. These are the guns that are only used for killing and not target shooting and range play and stuff like that. I put these on guns that are only used for murder. Okay? Just plain old murder weapons. That's what they are. You can't call it anything else, because that's what I use them for. I usually keep a thermal on an AR-308 I built. I don't really post that weapon that much, and I have a feeling I'll be keeping one on a little SBR 300 blackout upper, little AR upper, or maybe the SIG MCX when it's not being used as a test host. I think it's kind of that. Those thermal scopes have multiple profiles, and I have QD mounts with mine, so I can take them on and off the rifles, and they return to zero good enough for the ranges in which I use them. I'd say a lot of people use super long range thermal stuff. I don't. When I'm night stalking and killing, I'm getting within 100 yards typically, like Pretty much. I've shot further at night, but I like to get within 100 or so. It's my I like to get closer. It's actually a challenge too. It's kind of fun to get really close to the thing you're about to kill. It's awesome. It kind of tests your skill too, especially at reading wind. That's super fun, and being quiet, being stealthy, and being a ninja, and frankly, being the predator. Right? You remember the predator wasn't like. The predator was just like showing up and like, whoa, he was right there. Like the predator didn't like break a stick and give himself away. It wasn't amateur hour. That was an old predator. Remember when he took off his mask? It was all blurry image and blurry vision. He's old. He needed glasses. So when I take him off, when I take the sight off or put it back on, if it's like, oh, now it's a half MOA off or whatever, I'm like, I'm not shooting game animals at night. I'm gonna shoot a hog in the face or a shoulder or something, or like in the back, or like I'm gonna kill a pest animal, or I'm gonna kill a coyote. I'm pretty close up. Like the accuracy's pretty good. I haven't had a problem with it. I mean, is it shifting a little bit when I take it on and off? Maybe, but I think there's a lot of marksmanship you got to keep in mind too. Shooting at night's a little bit difficult. The units I use are Pulsar Trail LRF XP50s. They have laser rangefinders, which helps through thermal, especially at night, because sometimes, depending on the conditions and the terrain, it's really tough to judge distance. It really is. And if you aren't familiar with your terrain, that can happen. I don't know, and that's something that's when I told you got to learn how to use thermal. This is something you're gonna figure out. And a lot of people, you take a new thermal hunter out, and they're going to make this mistake. I've seen it 100 times, and everyone makes it the first time or the first 10 times. It's just one thing you learn as you literally become the predator. You're judging distance at night is just way different. And when you learn how to identify different animals under thermal, because you're going to see it. You're going to see the animal. Like you're going to be able to detect, like in some cases, over 1,000 yards away with thermal. You're going to see. You're going to have no problem detecting. Now the identification, that's where you got to learn, because it's not going to be like what you see on the internet all the time. Okay, you're going to really need to understand. And in some cases, you might think it's something. You might see something and think it's a certain animal, but it might be like a little armadillo really close up, and like, why would you kill an armadillo? Or it might be like a cow, like a beef cow, like really far away. It's like, don't shoot the cow. Don't do that. and people do both. They shoot the wrong things because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, because they mistake the target for something else because they don't know how to properly identify with thermal. They know how to detect, but they don't know how to identify, and that's okay. You learn by making mistakes, but what's the first rule of engagement? Target ID. You don't just shoot something when you don't know what it is. That's crazy. It's literally reckless. It's irresponsible. You don't want to kill things you don't want to kill. You want to be the predator. You want to be selective. You want to be professional. Okay, if you're going to have a belt of skulls, you want them to be skulls that you wanted. Okay, you don't want to have, you can have a cow skull in your belt too, bro. I mean, maybe, but bro. Okay, but seriously, don't be too proud. You got to practice. Do you think that the predator just woke up one day, put on his gear, got in his spaceship, crash landed on Earth, and was awesome at being the predator? No, son. In all likelihood, based upon the fact that in the first movie he couldn't even see clearly without the mask, he's probably old. Not a predator boomer or anything, but he's pretty old and wise, and he's seen some stuff. He's been through it, probably practiced and trained and hunted a lot on a bunch of different planets, so he's pretty experienced at killing things using the different technologies in his kit. Okay, so you're going to need to be like that too. I know I am. It takes practice, but it's right here. It's literally possible right now. The technology exists. It's attainable. for many people, it's getting cheaper every day. So really, all that stuff's available to allow you to operate in complete darkness and detect living things and make them non-living. So I'll keep you guys updated. I've wanted to do this for my entire life, my entire adult life, my childhood. So now I am. I'm doing it. So stay tuned. I'm going to have thermal on my face, dude. I'm going to have thermal on my face, on my freaking face. I'm going to have thermal on my face, hands-free. What a time to be alive. In all honesty, it's one of my childhood dreams, and I'm achieving it. I wanted to share that with you, and I'll talk about night vision eventually too, night vision's cool, and I like it, don't get me wrong, but it's not thermal, dude. Everyone goes so crazy about night vision. I'm like, are you, we have predator capability. Are you? I skipped right to thermal. I was like, night vision sounds cool, but I can see heat signature. Yeah, I'm going to kill stuff. This is predator time. All right. Topic 2 at a time of 50 minutes and 59 seconds. Everyone's like, well, Jay has gone crazy. All right, let me get a drink of water 1 second. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week. Why not 2? Yeah, let's go back and hit some stuff that needs characterizing. I don't know how I'm fitting 2 in, but I am. Yeah, now listen. Okay. I wrote 2 reviews this past weekend. Like I was saying, I worked on this, and I wrote them after a big test program. It was a pretty full weekend of PEW Science. Now, I now need to go back and probably rewrite some of the reviews that I wrote because they're not ready. I need to write some of it. It's going to be good. It's just it was a lot, and I was like, oh my god, I can't look at this anymore. It's like you like walk away from something, and you're like, oh my god, I've been writing for hours and hours and looking at this for hours and looking for data for hours, and you're just like, I can't. It's like when you do it all in one sitting like that, you're just like, I can't. It's just like it takes like so much time, and you're just like, after the analysis and the writing, and sometimes your brain just locks up, and you're like, okay, you gotta like take a walk, I don't know if you guys, everyone has a process, right? But yeah, you guys are going to get some data this week that I think is important, and it will highlight some things that I think some people are totally fine with. Okay, I think some people are totally going to be fine with some of this stuff I show, and then some people are going to care more about certain things, and they're going to be like, oh, how come that? I don't like that part, and that's okay. It's that's the beauty of all this. Okay, you can do anything you want. You can draw any conclusion you want for your use case from the information that I give you. Okay, the important part is that it is you. The conclusions you draw are your conclusions. You get to decide what is most important to you. Okay, you listening, you reading, you get to decide what is most important to you about a silencer performance on a host weapon system. It is not me or the silencer company or the distributor or the dealer or your friend that determines what is most important to you. It is you that determines what is most important to you. Okay? Never forget that. Be your own man or woman. Okay? Be your own person. So with that in mind, I'm going to present some information that has been requested a lot, and you're going to see some stuff that may or may not make you happy. And at the end of the day, that is my job. That is my job here at PEW Science. My job is to make sure you have the information. And knowledge is power. And I'm literally giving you all of the power. Knowledge is power, and I'm giving it to you for the first time in the history of silencers. That's right. That's what PEW Science is. Power transfer to the people. Buckle up, my friends. I'm sure there will be many discussions. Okay, topic 3 at a time of 54 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm running out of space on my little piece of paper that I scroll on like a lunatic. Topic 3, just finished a wonderful field test program, really great data. really fantastic research progression for our PEW Science R&D clients. And the end result, I wanted to just mention to you, I know I have a lot of new listeners. I want to make sure you guys don't miss this. The end result is that you're going to get better products. Okay? That's right, you're going to get better products because of this. So thank you for all the people that support this, because you're bootstrapping the silencer industry. Okay, so I mean, like I said, I just got done with doing some testing, and a lot of tests were done. Some really good things were tested. Some really interesting things were tested, and we have there's not much I can say, but we have even had a continuous R&D program going on for a manufacturer that is going to require a significant amount of my time. Okay, it already has in field time, but it's requiring a significant amount of my time back in the PEW Science office. Literally the desk where I'm recording this podcast. In my house. No, but seriously, after this weekend of testing and of authoring the articles that are going to be published this week, I may need a short break from publication so I can catch up on analysis and reporting. I have things that are very complicated and drawn out. I have some in-depth R&D calculations and deliverables to work on, and so at the end of it, when I'm finished, when I end up delivering it to the client, it will be part of things that result in you, the consumer, or whoever you are listening. You might not be a consumer. You might be a silencer company. I don't know who you are. Hi out there, podcast land. It will result in you getting better products. Okay. The goal of PEW Science has worked. I am here to tell you that my plan worked. I hope you're listening to this. I mean, that's all I can say. It's I have successfully created an ecosystem in which companies have utilized my company and this level playing field that I created to advance their technology in ways that they could not previously have done. Okay. We, me and you listening, together have now officially changed the silencer industry distinctly. Okay? All you have to do is wait and see what we have done, and when when it's released to the public, that's all you got to do. You just got to sit there. How about them apples? Isn't that cool? So thank you for your support. I do mean it. I say it every time in this last topic here. I always thank people for their support. I always do, and I always mean it. And I do want to say that you all make things like this possible. So please stay tuned for the data this week. You're going to need that. So that's the incremental deliverable for you, and then stay tuned later, of course, for much more coming from PEW Science. And please, in the meantime, before we talk again, stay safe. I want to go shooting this weekend. I'm going to go play Predator. Okay, it's going to be awesome. And I will give you a full update on the Predator project. Maybe that'll be like the Scar project, but more murdery. Okay, I will talk with you folks again soon. All right, bye.